It is a very significant amount. By and large, this will cover pretty much the entire net issuance of sovereign bonds in the Eurozone to be expected this year. So indeed, the European Central Bank is making it easier for companies to fund themselves, but also for governments to fund themselves. That is a significant contribution from monetary policy to cushion the shock of the pandemic.
Holger, can we read anything into the announcement today about what it means by the challenge from the German Constitutional Court? There have been some fears that the ECB may be hamstrung in its asset purchase program, but I don't think the Germans wanted to hold back the response at this point around the pandemic, did they?
Well, the German court had said explicitly that its ruling, its verdict, did not apply to the ECB's response to the pandemic, which of course could be a reason for the ECB to go ahead today. Partly to make the point, yes, whatever the legal dispute is, we are not in any way constrained by it. I don't think that the ECB, in its formal statement, will want to say much about this issue of the German court. After all, the ECB does not answer to the German court or any other German authorities. I expect LAGARDE, the ECB president, in the press conference, of course, to be asked about it, where she will probably say that, yes, of course, there's always an idea to improve communications. Maybe it's possible for the ECB and the Bundesbank to explain it all once again more clearly to the German public. But I don't think that she would suggest in any way that the ECB in its policy decisions will adjust to anything the German court has asked for, and hence she will likely say this is much more an inner German issue than something which the ECB itself is affected by.
Holger, very good morning to you. And by the way, thank you and Callum for all the great copy. I've been reading a lot of it as well. Look, my question is, you said it will allow companies to finance themselves. Just which companies is it that couldn't finance themselves anyway? Which well-financed, blue-chip, good cash flow companies that actually have a good raison d'etre in the 21st century to be around? Which ones couldn't finance themselves anyway at record lows? I don't know.
Actually, that's not just a very good question. That's a significant point. Of course, the ECB, even if it were to go for fallen angels, that is, companies that have been downgraded since the start of the pandemic, is not really helping those companies very, very much. At least those companies could finance themselves without ECB support at slightly higher rates. What the ECB doing is two things. First of all, it's making it a bit cheaper for companies to finance themselves, not possible for them, but also the ECB is, of course, hoping that buying at the good end of the market will percolate through the market so that even companies that are more stricken, junk companies in terms of their rating, will find it easier to get through the pandemic. The pandemic is not the time for the central bankers and for fiscal policy to think about a big churning in the corporate world, to worry about companies that should not be there, not being supported too much. This response is about, in a way, limiting the amount of bankruptcies. And by helping at the top end of the market, the ECB is probably contributing a little to that.